2, 3. Sure. People have left to attend the Kiwi Rail. The item 10, regional events grant. Dave, thank you. There's the link as well, but you should be fine.
Kia ora koutou. I'm the Senior Advisor, Events and Regional Services and Strategy. This report provides our recommendations against the applications for the second regional event funding round. We continue to be experiencing lower numbers of applications or suitable applications than we have in the past. That's something that's has been occurring since COVID. We know the reason for that in some cases, that some events have ceased occurring, others have missed application deadlines, and in some of the one-off events that we might be funding, I think they're finding it harder to get off the ground these days with increased costs. So what we have done in this case is we've provided recommended funding for all the suitable events that did apply. They've all applied in the past, and we're suggesting increased funding for them to recognise the inflation and costs for running events. Further, we're seeking a delegation to enable us to potentially distribute the remaining balance of unallocated funding prior to year end. This will be through us staff involved candidate events that meet our funding priorities.
Very clear. Councillor Ferry said she would like to move. Is there a seconder? Councillor Henderson. I just have one question around, and we did discuss it in the pre-agenda, around meeting council saving targets in the current financial year. It's not my most favourite. Obviously, meeting savings targets is important, but these grants had been well fought for, and I know that might have missed out. Is that going events have been funded properly before we?
Yes, our primary aim will be to effectively distribute that funding before year end.
Thank you. And I know there have been discussion maybe with Takapuna Winter Lights, as it was festival was a large regional event, but Elemental was having a hiatus. So if we could, is it confirmed that we're talking to them as potentially to help them maybe?
Yes, we became aware of that situation last week and had been in contact with them, and I actually met with them yesterday, obtaining additional information off them to have a look at that.
Good, thank you. Are there any other questions? No, fairly clear. Is there any debating points? No, just these are awesome set of events that I hope everyone can attend, and I'm sure we'll hear back about them afterwards. But kia ora, thank you to the staff for putting that together. Thank you. All those in favour?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Right. Right, we have the priority submissions for Auckland Council Group. I think Sandra has the only two members who asked, which was Councillor Ferry and Councillor Darby. Are you still fine to be a delegated group? So I'll move those with the additions of those names. Seconder, Deputy Chair. All right, no, I've confused you. Sorry, Adam. Adam's like, what are you talking about? Sorry, that was my fault for jumping around today. Kia ora. You just have to, on the right, if you press the right button. Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Kia ora koutou. I'm not going to give a presentation on this, just a few brief points, and they're just to re-emphasise some points in the paper. But sorry, just to confirm, I'm Adam Morris. I'm a Principal Strategic Advisor in the Strategic Advice Unit. So the report I've brought you is to seek approval for this committee for submissions on priority government policy-related consultations during this year. And as a quick reminder, this is part of a process that council staff developed last year for identifying and prioritising consultations, government consultations, and that involves assessing them against a set of criteria. So we applied that process to consultations last year and brought them to this committee, which were approved, and that was in March and June of last year. So we've repeated the process again for consultations expected this year, and it is those that we're seeking for approval to prepare submissions for. And then just quickly, those are the restoration of polls for Māori wards, local election, abolition of the Ratepayer Roll Amendment Bill, Fast Track Consenting Bill, RMA Amendment Bill relating to Te Manawa Tuwai provisions through the MPSFM, and a second emissions reduction plan, national emissions reduction plan. And if this list is approved by committee, then the actual submissions themselves will go through the appropriate committee. Yep, so that's it from me. Kia ora. Thank you.
Kia ora. Thank you, Adam. Very straightforward. Thank you for the work. I know a bunch of work has to go into these submissions before it reaches us, so thank you very much. And just, I had made Councillor Watson and Fletcher already aware that although the GPS is mentioned here, it is coming to Transport and Infrastructure with the full submission. It is not. We're not taking that responsibility off Councillor Watson at all, but it is mentioned here. Are there any questions? Member Ashby.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you. Just a quick one from me. Obviously, there's a whole bunch coming quite quickly at us, and I see and appreciate the commentary around engaging with Māori as timeframes allow, because the timeframes are set by Central, not by us. Obviously, that's quite tight. So, is there what proactive steps could be taken to either get that engagement, or if it can't be got, from the available evidence that council has, you know, through iwi management plans and the like, and previous submissions, what steps could be taken to, I guess, inform council submissions through that process, given the time constraints?
Thank you for the question through the chair. Yeah, if there's any engagement that has happened before with iwi, then that will be taken into account in the consultation. But as regards the timeframes, so that's one step. But as regards the timeframes, then yeah, we are constrained by central government, as you say. It's not our timeframing. So the approach that we've taken is to contact iwi as soon as we know the consultation is out, and offering an opportunity to feedback to the relevant council staff, or informing where the actual consultation can be followed through with the central government agency. But yeah, those are the steps we've got in place at the moment. But yeah, I don't really know how to change that with central government, or make that more flexible from their part. So it's.
Kia ora, thank you. And Adam, I think we have had similar issues before with government on that. Is there ways for us to help, obviously, mana whenua groups? They'll obviously be submitting on their own, but we like to have their views in our submission as well. But is there a way for us to help inform it and give them sort of, if they want it, we're not saying they don't have it, but to make sure they have fulsome information that maybe is not accessible, that we can send them to help them prepare their own submissions?
So I think I understood the question. So, well, one thing that we are doing is trying to give heads up, basically, as much warning as possible that this is coming up. So this list, for example, will also send to iwi so they know, and that's the same reason, or that's one of the reasons we're doing this for council as well, and for councillors, so we know what's coming up. So there's some advance warning of what's coming, and we can prepare maybe some thinking around that in advance. I mean, that's part of the reason for this. So that's one way.
Through the chair as well, just adding, we know that it's a considerable impact on iwi when these things come quickly. So as Eden has said, we do our best to give them a heads up, but also to give them the opportunity, if they do ask us for information or advice, then we are very happy to share that as well. So we do that, but I don't think it's as proactive and in a way that either of us want, particularly with the timeframes from central government every time. Yeah.
Thank you. Right, thank you, Adam. I don't think there's any other questions, so that's be great. Is there any debate? No. Thank you. All those in favour? Aye. Any opposed? No. Thank you. Right, we have item 12, the spatial